Boy, Xbox and Nintendo are just in a race to be the most hated gaming company right now. I'm not sure why, but they're doing it, especially with the most recent Game Pass price hike from $20 a month to 30. And the internet reacted about as calmly as you'd expect to. In fact, people are trying to cancel their subscriptions by such a big number. The website to cancel the subscription was crashing. I don't Part of me almost thinks Microsoft crashed it on purpose so people wouldn't do it yet and maybe forget to do it later. But that's probably one of the first times I can think of that people actually took action on a negative business practice, as in people actually canceled subscriptions or stopped buying something when something bad happened. Can we do the same for TV subscription services, please? Can we do that? I'd like that. But regardless, the official statement regarding Xbox Game Pass is actually a little less black and white than you might think. So with this image on screen right here, you can see that there are now 3 tiers of Game Pass. You have the Essential, you have the Premium, and you have the Ultimate. And they all do varying things. However, it's a little vague enough to where I wouldn't subscribe to any of these confidently. So in the Essential tier, 50 plus games on PC, console, and cloud for $9.99 a month. Unlimited cloud gaming, in-game benefits for Riot Games, or including Riot Games, online console multiplayer, so Xbox Live included, play and earn up to 25 a year in the store with rewards, which doesn't mean a whole lot to most people. So essentially this is Xbox Live with some games included, which is actually less money than it used to be. Xbox Live used to be $15 a month. Does anyone remember that? Xbox Live used to be $15 a month. But now we look at the premium tier, 200 plus games on PC, console, and cloud for $15 a month, so we're back to the normal price now. New Xbox published games within a year of launch. Ouch. Because day one Xbox published games was kind of one of the main things about Game Pass that was part of why you subscribed. Unlimited cloud gaming with shorter wait times. No one cloud games, no one cares. More in-game benefits, including with Riot Games. Honestly, part of me kind of would just want to do it for that so I could ease into League of Legends easier. I'm still working on it. Anyways, regardless. Xbox Live and earn up to $50 a year in store with rewards. Again, not really sure how that works. I've never engaged with that system before, but it is what it is, I suppose. And then you have Ultimate, which is the main one that increased in price. This is the one we had before that was 20 a month, and now it's 30. At least I think, because I think they reworked all these. So then you have 400 plus games. I didn't realize it was 400 plus. I thought it was a different number. Playable on PC, console, and cloud for $30 a month. 75 plus day one games a year, including all Xbox published games day one. So this includes all Xbox published games, plus these 75 plus day one games. So you're actually getting a lot of day one games. Ubisoft Classics and EA Play included, with Fortnite Crew coming in November. I don't know what Fortnite Crew is. I don't really care. I don't play Fortnite. I installed it one time, played with a friend. And since then, it has been since like 2018 since I last played Fortnite. Aside from that 1 or 2 matches I played with my friend. That's it. In-game benefits, including for Riot Games, Xbox Live, and play and earn up to $100 a year in-store with rewards. Again, not sure how that system works. So when you take a look at this new tiering system, it's I hate to say it like this, it's not actually that bad. Because forgive me if I'm wrong, but Ultimate used to just have the 200 plus games, right? They're including more now. So with like EA Play and Ubisoft games and whatnot, you can joke about Ubisoft all you want. They have good games. They have good games. And so does EA. You have like the Battlefield games. Coolio. Might play Battlefield 6 on that. But I think the retooling of the tiers is kind of muddling the context a little bit, because I need to look into what Game Pass was like before the price hike, right? So the old Game Pass actually did have those 400 plus games. I was mistaken. I thought it was like 250 plus or something like that. I remember seeing old ads and kind of got confused. My bad. My bad. But apparently, the only thing they really added was slightly better cloud gaming and the Ubisoft and Fortnite stuff. And for a $10 price increase, no, that's not worth a $10 price increase at all. Like, oh, sure, it might give you value, but that's kind of a forced thing for people who don't want that value. Now, the internet reaction is extreme compared to most things like price hikes and whatnot, because no matter what, price hikes seem to not change anything. You know, Switch 2 still sold well. The PS5 Pro apparently actually sold models despite being $800 for pretty much the whole thing. And then Game Pass increases its prices, and fan backlash was massive, and we actually got a response for it. In an interview with The Verge, Dustin Blackwell, director of gaming and platform communications at Microsoft, came out to defend the increase, saying, "What's new for everyone across all three Game Pass plans is bigger game libraries, including PC games across each of the plans. There is also unlimited cloud gaming, which is new to Essential and Premium subscribers. We're now also giving access to more than 75 day one releases each year, which is a 50% increase over the day one titles that they had last year before the price increase. And with Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Plus Classics, those combined added about $28 a month in value to Ultimate subscribers." Now, that's all well and good. It's not so much the actual value that's bugging people, it's who's saying it. Because, yes, of course, this guy would defend the Game Pass price increase. Duh, he works for Microsoft. He's a big guy up there at Microsoft. Of course, he's the one saying, "Oh, well, you get more value." It doesn't matter. He could say anything. He could say it would cure cancer, and it would not matter because he's the one saying it. He's the one saying it. So it invalidates anything he could say. Because ultimately, the consumers are the ones with the money, and they're canceling their Game Pass subscriptions. Now GameStop is still selling Game Pass Ultimate for $20. I'm not sure how they can do that. I'm not going to think about that too hard. GameStop does what GameStop do. I'm going to leave them alone. All I know is that there's not a GameStop in my area anymore, so I can't. Maybe off their website. I don't know. I can't work with GameStop anymore. I don't have a location in my area, which sucks. I actually like GameStop. So that about covers everything at the moment with the Xbox Game Pass price increase. I assume we're going to get another development at some point because the backlash is huge. Huge. So now for a personal opinion on my part. The value is still there. I know people like to tout around $360 a year. Yeah, but the value is still there. What you're getting with Game Pass is still good value. But that's not the point. The point is, it was $15, now it's $30. The artificial price increase is the main problem, not the actual value you're getting. Because as Ebonheart likes to say a lot, it's not about what the reality of things is, it's about the perception. How do people view it as opposed to the reality of it? Because the reality is that, sure, Game Pass is still worth it. If you're a variety gamer, if you enjoy playing a variety of games, you have a lot of things to try here. If you like playing new games, and you like trying new things, this is a good deal. You're getting so many games. For the amount you're paying a year, you would get with the new price increases on games, maybe 5 or 6 games a year, and you get hundreds for paying a yearly fee. And I'll say this, there are genuine masterpieces on this thing. You've got games like Dishonored, you've got some of Bethesda's games, whether they're masterpieces or not is up to you. You got Halo Master Chief Collection, Batman Arkham Knight, Alien Isolation. Yes, they're old games, but there's also modern classics and things like that. It doesn't really matter because it was $15, now it's $30. Now, I do have a business theory as to why Microsoft is failing so bad, and why they've actually been failing for the last decade, almost 2 decades now since the 360 launched. So let's rewind back. So Microsoft's problem is that they keep looking way too far ahead and acting on ahead instead of what's actually happening now. They're too proactive and not reactive. They keep looking towards a future that does not exist. So let's rewind all the way back to the Xbox 360 days. Good old Xbox 360. I don't care what anyone says. It obliterated the PlayStation 3. Sure, you had to pay for online, but PS3 also had a lot of security issues, mind you. So, and the Xbox 360 had some, and then they bolstered their security years later, whatever. But the 360 came with this little thing that you could buy separately called the Kinect. Does anyone remember the Kinect? Does anyone care about the Kinect? Did anyone care about the Kinect ever? No, no one cared, because the Kinect sucked. The Kinect was essentially a motion sensor. A motion sensor that you set up to look at you. You stand in front of it. And it's supposed to detect your body movement. And your in-game character would react to it. That was how it was supposed to work. It was supposed to react to you. It was essentially forced competition for the Nintendo Wii, because the Nintendo Wii destroyed the 360 and the PS3 in many different ways. So the Kinect, however, was using a different technology entirely. The reason the Wii worked so well is because it was literally just a remote. It was basically a motion-based TV remote. You had the big long sensor thing that was like this thing. It was funny. It's kind of goofy looking. And it would pick up the motion of the Wiimote. it didn't care what your body was actually doing. It just cared what the remote was doing. Do I have anything I could use a remote? I Is this a remote? Would this work? Is this a remote? This is a remote. This little toolbox here is a remote. So, as you move the Wiimote, right, it doesn't care what this hand's doing. It doesn't even really care what your arm's doing. What cares is the motion of the Wii remote, right? That's why that technology worked. It wasn't new technology, it was just adapted. It was adapted technology. The Kinect, on the other hand, was attempting to scan your whole body and make your in-game character do things based on your movements. That is a whole new level of complicated and ridiculous. Microsoft was looking way too far ahead into the future in terms of technology. Not so much greed, they were kind of just trying to force compete with Nintendo. PlayStation tried to, it failed as well with the PlayStation Move. But they were looking so far ahead, they could not tell that the technology was not ready yet. In fact, the technology still is not ready for something that complicated. We need like major AI improvements before we're able to translate our IRL movements into a video game. The Oculus, the only reason the Oculus works is because it's essentially a dramatic version of the Wiimote. Think about it. Your in-game character moves based on the position of each of your hands because you're holding the controllers. The controllers are being scanned, and while it does have kind of mini input detections for your fingers and things, it's really just for looks. It doesn't actually do anything in the games most of the time. So Microsoft was just way in over their heads. And while it did come with the Xbox One as well, it was more so used for convenience, not so much actual games or anything. And it was improved. It was a more consistent piece of hardware. So Microsoft looked too far ahead, and they got burned. They lost a lot of value. Now let's fast forward to the Xbox One. The Xbox One was a disaster because they attempted to look far into the future ahead at an economy that did not exist yet. So what they essentially did was saw, hey, everyone loves Xbox Live. They all love playing online. Let's cater this new console specifically to an online economy for online players. That didn't work. Back in 2012, 13, the economy and the internet sort of sphere was not the same as it is now. The internet back then, a lot of people had it. Most people had it. But it wasn't particularly fast for a lot of people. And there were still many that didn't have it. The physical games media was still a huge thing at that point. So switching to a almost all digital thing and killing off used games through a DRM system for their new console killed Microsoft, or at least killed Xbox. The Xbox gaming division, I'm not exaggerating, never recovered after that day. It never recovered. To this day, they still feel the impact. Xbox died that day, and they never came back. So what they saw was, hey, people are moving into online-only economy. Let's literally dump everything we have into that economy. And of course it didn't work because not everyone could utilize that. And even if they could, the competition was just doing better. They just did more. Or they at least didn't force you to kill off your own used game library. It was stupid, it was ridiculous, and nobody liked it. So they switched off. And the Xbox One did end up being a good console. It was just as good as the PlayStation 4, but alas, that one business decision that they did roll back killed them. And I can't entirely blame people. So by looking too far ahead into the arguably what we have now as an online-only economy, where people are buying games that have DRM installed, they sell millions of copies regardless, a console like the Xbox One now may not look weird, but back then it was devastating. It was horrible. But Microsoft looked way too far ahead and acted on that instead of acting in what the current economy is like, in the current sphere of the internet and gaming. Now we fast forward to today, they're doing it again. They're looking into the future of, oh, people can stream our games now from any device. They can stream it from a PC, they can stream it from an actual Xbox if they own one, and from their mobile device. So, since they can do that, let's put all our eggs in one basket and create the Game Pass, which can stream some games. The problem is, internet is just not that good yet. At least not consistently good. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it on mobile or anything. I have streamed a game from my Xbox. It works. But the problem is, not everyone trusts that enough to really do it. We're talking about on-the-go stuff here. Streaming games. Why stream a game when you can install it at home? And then if you're on the go, there's no guarantee your internet will be good enough to stream the game? It's a weird concept. Now Microsoft's on to something, but they waited, but they didn't wait. They went way far ahead to an economy where everyone has amazing internet, which does not exist yet. That economy does not exist. For example, I'll pull up my calculator here real quick. Let's say Game Pass is still $15, like their original plan, $15 a month. Let's say 50 million people got Game Pass. Let's say 50 million people got Game Pass because let's say they were right. Let's say, the streaming actually was really consistent, was really good. You didn't have to have a dedicated console. You could do it from your phone. You could plug a controller into your phone like a Backbone. I own the Backbone. It's great. And you could just play games on the go. That sounds cool. Okay, so let's say people saw that value and actually wanted that, because there's a lot of games on there. You can play a lot of games. That would be making Microsoft $750 million a month. A month. Now, a year would be $9 billion, and that's not counting actual game sales themselves, just off of Game Pass. And take into account, Roblox has over 100 million daily active users. So that I don't think 50 million is an unrealistic number if it was a really good service. The problem is that streaming is not really a streamlined thing yet, pun intended. It's just not good enough. It's not enough value for people when you can just install a game at home, or the streaming is just not consistent, right? It's a good idea in concept, but because they jumped the gun so soon, it just doesn't work. It didn't work. They keep trying to artificially create economies, and it does not work that way. You cannot create an economy based off of non-existent market conditions. Not everyone has amazingly fast internet to stream games, and even if they did, why would you? So I see what Microsoft was going for, but because they went way too far ahead and they spent billions buying up companies like Activision and Bethesda and what have you, they shot themselves in the foot, and now they're having to increase their prices because they're losing money on all the purchases they've been making and all the deals they're giving people. And while this $30 a month is still a deal, it's not in comparison to what it used to be, and that's really the main problem. So that's kind of my business take. Maybe that's all coincidence. Maybe the whole jumping ahead thing has nothing to do with it. But it's a consistent pattern I've noticed. They keep trying to make economies based off conditions that don't exist. And it's not like every company doesn't, but oh well. That's the current news. We'll be sure to update you if anything else happens with Xbox, so subscribe for that. I am Jaden. Evan Hart was not able to join me today, but he will soon. Do all the YouTube stuff. Yeet.